YouTube, what's good? Welcome back to the channel. Today, Joe, game director of Destiny 2, dropped a random video, and I'm assuming this is a response to the community's response to the state of the game. Let's just say many people were not happy, including myself. It didn't feel like the community was being listened to at all. Now, I tend to focus on PvP heavily. I have been a hardcore PvP player since the beta of Destiny 1. So here we're going to listen to this video. Let's see what they have to tell us, and I'll give you my 2 cents with some commentary, of course, as we go along.
Hey everybody, it's Joe, and I'm just here to check in on how Destiny's going.
Very different type of video from Bungie.
We put about state of the game communication that wasn't up to our standards for what y'all have come to expect for those kinds of communications. It didn't
it kind of backfired, didn't it?
The high-level vision that we normally provide, and really and truly, a bunch of us were heads down working the final shape and weren't able to give it the sort of care and love that we normally put into these kind of communications. And that's nobody's fault but mine here on this. So I wanted to come in, talk to you all directly, and sort of give you an update on what we thought about the state of the game that we put out and what we think about Destiny as a whole. Now, this is going to be pretty different than normal. This isn't a
already
highly
different
produced sort of production. It's me in my office. It's not scripted. I've got a bunch of notes here.
Okay, this is not scripted either. I have no idea what he's going to say. It's going to feel
probably more like you're just in a meeting with me, which is going to be rambly. I'm probably going to mess up a few times, but really, I just want to go over where we're thinking about the game. So what we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about the reveal coming out next week.
Okay.
We're going to talk about PvP.
Oh,
we're going to talk
I'm interested.
About armor. We're going to talk about our communication strategy. Those are the big ones. So let's just get right into it. Let's start with reveal. Next week, we're going to go out and we're going to show an awesome showcase for the final shape.
Yeah.
We're really excited about a bunch of the content in there. But, and truly, that showcase is not a reaction to the state of the game last week. That's not a reaction to a bunch of the sentiment online. And it's definitely not a reaction to this video.
All right, good to know. It was
recorded a while ago. I think I have a mustache in the video. And it's a pretty focused reveal. In the same way that the game itself is pretty focused. The final shape is focused on the light. It's focused on the enemies we've been setting up and the allies that you've come to know. It's not about a bunch of wacky new systems or wacky new themes coming into Destiny. Instead, we want to make an experience that's super easy for anyone who's ever played Destiny to come in and absolutely fall in love with the content that's before them.
So it's safe to say that they kind of had to drop this video because the reveal was not going to address any of the community concerns, any of the feedback we were giving. So when we saw the reveal, it would feel like they were just completely ignoring us, pushing us to the side, waiting for us to shut up. This is very important that they dropped this video before that.
I think the other thing that's really important here to know, as I sort of look at my meeting notes, is that communication is built for a pretty wide audience. Much wider than probably whoever is watching this video. So what we're not going to talk about
some of us care too much.
A big new Strange Coin refactor and Xur revamp that's coming out in the final shape. We're not going to talk about things like a refactor of HUD elements where we're making sure the buffs and the debuffs are more clear and you can tell what's happening in higher level combat. It's going to really be focused on the story.
Announcements
really
pretty much.
On the location. And maybe we'll get into a little bit about how the live service of Destiny is going to change after the final shape.
All right.
Following that showcase, Dan, our GM, and I are going to be on set, taking questions, dotting T's, crossing I's, or maybe the reverse of that, what you've seen in the showcase. So we'll provide a little bit more clarity on what was shown.
I hope the expansion's a banger, man.
We'll get into some ways that maybe our philosophy on the final shape or specific details might have changed over the last few weeks since we recorded the showcase. All right, I think that's it for reveal. If I'm looking at the sheet next,
stuff we already know.
So let's start with the state of PvP right now.
Do you have anything more to say than you did in the state of the game?
What have we been focused on? We've been really focused on sandbox balance.
Yeah, we know that.
A big focus of effort last year was just
hasn't been the greatest.
Strand came out in a good place and got to live sort of in harmony
with
the rest of our Crucible ecosystem.
And they did a pretty good job delivering strand. They actually like nailed it. It wasn't too OP, it wasn't too weak. We feel like it might need a couple buffs. Some people might find Suspend to be a little bit of annoying, but for the most part, strand was not another repeat of the disaster of stasis inside of Destiny Crucible.
Aside from that, we've been focusing on putting up 2 weapon balances per season, one at the start, one in the mid-season.
And that is nice. And sorry to pause again, but they make it sound like it's so much that we're getting so much balance. But, me and Immortal has been running rampant still. We had long metas of like Lord of Wolves in the past, Lorenz Revel in the past, and even now Titans are still running Supreme. Antaeus and Titans are still going to be pretty dominant next season. So, yeah.
Been focusing on ritual updates to PvP, be this mode updates, point updates, reward updates.
I've been liking the modes.
Beginning of each season. Finally, we flip over to our agenda. We've been focused on making 1 new map and a few reprises a year.
Yeah.
Now, all that aside,
not a big fan.
I think it's fair to say this approach is not producing the Crucible that our players expect us.
It's not, and I'm happy you understand that.
How are we going to change?
Oh, tell me, how are you going to change?
Maps. It's clear that the sort of slow trickle of PvP maps isn't having the effect we want.
It's not.
And although it gets an injection of PvP maps every so often into the ecosystem, it's also forcing this like 1 new map a year. Means you're trying to build a map that has to do everything.
Right.
Which means it can't be good at anything.
No.
So next year, we're going to change our philosophy. Instead of a slow trickle of maps throughout the year, we're going to focus our effort into a single map pack.
Excuse me? A map pack, huh? Hold on, let me change your face, Joe. All right, you look better now. Don't worry. Oh, we're getting a map pack. So the problem with the maps releases now is that it's just trickling, of course. It feels like a slow burn. And then when we do get a new map, there's too much expectations, and usually it doesn't live up to the hype. Disjunction, the most recent one, well, really like the only one in years, was a pretty bad map. And, everyone in the community thought the same thing. The map tried having long range, it tried having some close range areas, but the map overall just didn't really work at one thing other than just being the one that you wanted to not play ever. So when they say map pack as well, I'm curious, is this going to include 1 new map in the reprise maps, or can we safely assume they're all going to be new maps? Because a lot of us also have a problem with the fact that we're getting Citadel back. We're getting the old maps back that we don't want to play, that were in the DCV. And if we were to get new maps, we want to actually be new, or at the very least, Destiny 1 maps.
It's free for everyone. So imagine
free for everyone is huge. I mean, that's to be expected. Not really a major surprise there. A map pack is going to be solid because it's going to be like a punch, like a catalyst to just get Crucible to feel very alive.
New maps coming in 1 drop, where we can make a bunch of new experiences that can all be good at specific things and adds a big variety in a single drop.
That's good. That's good. Imagine a map that's really good at close range, a map that's good at mid range, a map that's really good at like rotations and whatnot. I feel like we need that variety right now.
Our strategy. So it's going to take us time to sort of understand the details of what we're putting out here and getting
how much time
next year. Okay, maps are great, but we still really believe that PvP is about the foundation, and new maps aren't going to solve a foundation. So modes. First of all, I'm really excited about what's coming out in season 22. First with Checkmate. Checkmate is a mode all about that sort of primary fire, basic weapon excellence of Bungie games, and being able to show that excellence in a PvP setting.
I'm interested about the mode personally. I don't know if many of you guys are. It does sound like something that we have wanted for many years, but I wouldn't know how good it's going to be until I get to actually play it.
It's what a bunch of our like really marksman style PvP players have been asking for a long time, since Destiny 1.
Oh, Destiny 1.
And we're finally going to put a mode like that in the game. And I'm super excited.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious.
Starting right away in season 22. Next, we've got Relic. And so
Party
Relic
game
is a different kind of mode. And it sort of is a building off of these experiments that we've been doing with things like Fortress or Eruption, where it's about this quality Destiny sandbox experience of your guns and your powers.
Right.
It escalates when you succeed in sort of a crazy mayhem-like experience.
Right.
And we think the balance of those two things is a really great time to sort of spend away from other parts of the game and get the full spectrum of what Destiny has to offer.
I encourage party game modes because it reminds you to have some fun, mess around here and there, and not take the game too serious. Hopefully it's good. I like Scorched. It got boring quickly though.
I'm really excited that Relic is going to provide an experience like this that is both, fun for people that are really good at slaying out and also has these sort of like high octane hijinks moments to it. But that's what we've already committed to. So let's talk about some new things that we think we need to do. One, we know we need to bring more of our modes into the core playlists.
We've
been putting a lot out in labs. We've been putting a lot out in Iron Banner. And to be honest, there's a few obstacles to us putting these into our core playlists, be this VO or small bug level issues that we just were like, I don't know if we're ready. I think that has been blocking us from doing the right thing here. So we're going to take on some of that bug wake. We're going to take on a little bit of the jank, and we're going to say, no. This isn't worth us not putting into the mode. And so we're going to take some of these modes that we've been putting in Crucible Labs, that we've been putting in Iron Banner, and taking them and putting them into the core PvP experience that most of our players experience.
All right. This is a pretty big deal here because let me break it down for you. As a hardcore PvPer, it's difficult to go into these Crucible Lab modes and play it and want to play it when it feels like it's just a filler mode that nobody cares about. And if the hardcore feels that, then so do casuals. Casuals want to just flock into the playlist that everyone is playing, where it's home, where people are actively playing, not some random mode that they don't understand, know anything about, and they're kind of scared, so they just avoid it. So the fact that some of these modes might make it into the core playlist should mean that either A, some people are going to feel forced to play the modes they don't like, or B, we're going to have more variety, more fun using some different modes and strategies to play the game, right?
We've also heard a lot about comp, and particularly about the way that we reward points in comp.
That he's mentioning anything about comp.
We want to take a new approach to the way that we're balancing points in comp.
All right.
Right now, we think it's just weighted too much on your personal MMR versus the people you're playing against.
I don't know about that.
When you win or when you lose a game, it can be really unpredictable how many points.
It is very unpredictable, so I get it now. I understand.
Once again, we're going to go to a simpler system where winning or losing just matters more.
I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I mean it in a sense. I don't know if that's going to be good or bad, much better than the system we have now, because I do like my personal performance mattering, but that inconsistency with the points, and it almost feels like it's bugged out because you could play well, top frag, perform the best slayer in a slaying mode, and you still get less points than somebody that's bottom fragging on your team. So then you're just sitting there like, what gives? It doesn't make any sense. And that's really the main problem.
Finally, we want to get great modes like Countdown Rush into competitive and get modes that people are less excited about, like Rift, out of the rotation.
Well, this is good news for probably 80% of people that play competitive. A lot of people do not like Rift. To me, I'm a little bit sad about it because I do like Rift. I think it has a place, but there could be some improvements. But I'm down to try some new things, right? Keeps it fresh.
Making that competitive experience more about the game modes that, our players enjoy.
Yeah, that's good. That's always a solid approach.
Map strategy.
Let us pick what we want to play, right?
Modes. I want to talk one other effort we want to do here. We're going to bolster what we call a PvP strike team.
Oh, what?
Throughout Destiny development, we've built strike teams for efforts before. This has probably been sort of invisible to you all in the audience, but in moments like in between Curse of Osiris and Warmind, we built a strike team for Destiny investment. This team was sort of built around, hey, how can we make it more rewarding and more enjoyable to just get stuff in Destiny 2?
Okay.
This team built stuff very quickly, like what would eventually become the Masterworking system.
Yo, you guys listening to this?
Also went through, knocked out a whole bunch of bugs, knocked out a whole bunch of quality of life issues. We're going to take the same effort and we're going to build a PvP strike team around the same principle, but have it focused on the Crucible.
Wow.
It's going to be
excuse me? That's pretty ambitious, considering we haven't had anything close to that in the past several years. A PvP strike team. And he goes on to say that they did things like quality of life improvements, bug fixes, I think. So this is a pretty big deal. This is one of those things we have been wanting to hear for many years. And a PvP player right now sitting in their chairs like, Is he actually saying this? Is this for real? Are we finally getting to hear some of the words we have been wanting to listen to?
Led by PvP developers, and
PvP
it has
developers.
a really interesting playbook for how this works. And that's that first the team decides what they want to do. They as a team get together, say, hey, these are the changes we want to make. Those changes go through me. They go through our systems CD. And then when we say, yep, those are great changes, they immediately get communicated with y'all in the community.
Right.
So this will be going out in a Twid, going out in
You almost said twab.
a Twitter post, or going out on Reddit, right? Just sort of some immediate blast, like, hey, these are the changes coming. And those changes get communicated even before they start getting implemented. And then we start getting implemented.
Good.
We found this formula is a really successful way for us to be able to push through changes quickly into the community. And I think one of the most exciting parts about these strike teams is we build them based off of community feedback. So these strike teams are built from the ground up to look at, hey, what are the pain points that are hitting our community the most? And so all this list is going to be built and burned down from, hey, these are the big issues the PvP community is looking at in Destiny.
Man, beautiful words to hear. Look, I don't know what else he's going to say, but the fact we're getting the map packs, right? A PvP strike team alone makes us feel like we can walk away with a W. These are some really good steps forward. We haven't had what feels like a dedicated PvP team in forever, man. And we feel abandoned. We feel like we need more support, more love. This is a huge change that I honestly did not expect them to do at all. I didn't think this would happen. So I'm a little bit shocked right now. I can't believe he's saying this. I don't know how big the team is going to be. I don't know how much power the team is going to have, like, into actually pushing certain patches or updates for us. But this sounds pretty good, and I can't lie to you. I'm pretty excited about it. These are the type of things I wanted to hear or read in the state of the game in terms of PvP and its future. Right now, more than ever, based on what I'm listening to, it sounds like PvP actually has a glimmer of hope. So let's keep listening.
All right. I think that's the end of the PvP part of our agenda, if I'm looking at our notes here.
Oh, all right then. To summarize, more modes, more updates, right, with the sandbox, a PvP strike team, a map pack. Some things are still a little bit vague. There's some questions to ask, and I know you guys are going to tell me in the comments below, oh, how big is the team is? How many maps? How many of those are actually new maps, right? So on and so forth. Time will tell, but for now, this shows you that our complaints were not for nothing, right? People that were complaining, you can walk away with a W because our voices were heard. Any content creator, community members that like to play PvP, that have wanted more from the mode, can definitely be happy today and said, hey man, high fives all around, firm handshakes. We did it. We got them to budge, right? We got them to listen to us. We're not just random people that, you know, we matter, all right? We matter.
Here, I think we're now going to talk about armor.
We're PvP players who play the game so much, and we pay for the game too.
Been a while since we talked about this part about armor, but we might have talked about it before. I want to start with just talking about, like, armor visual categories in Destiny. So at the top, we've got what we call aspirational armor. This is stuff like raids, trials, dungeons.
Right.
We want the armor that comes from these activities to be flashy, or to, like, really talk about the core of what that experience is.
This basically is a response to people being upset that the ritual armor sets stopped being, you know, available for the expansions or whatever, and why they looked ugly. But meanwhile, Eververse has so many armors.
So when players earn these armors, they feel proud. They want to wear them.
I'm curious what he's going to say.
Next, we've got silver.
What's the response?
This is armor that you can buy for the store for silver. It's important for us that this feels like it's sort of breaking the mold of what you could expect in a Destiny game. It's our place to experiment with stuff that's a little bit fourth wall breaky. And importantly, we want anyone that spends silver on armor to feel like, hey, it was worth it, right? Like, I got my money's worth when I spent this armor. It was cool. Then we have what I call narrative armor. This is the stuff that you'll see in any sort of our marketing trailers. This is the stuff that you earn in the season pass. It's the stuff that you earn in the post game of a campaign, and it's really about driving home.
Funny he said earn for the battle pass when you have to pay for that too.
In season 21, it's deep sea diver armor, right? And
yeah, they have
Witch
their
Queen
themes.
is sort of like weird paranormal detective armor. You'll see what it is in the final shape here in a week or so. But that armor for us is really about like driving home this clear, consistent fantasy of like, oh yeah, I was there. I remember that time in Destiny. Finally, we've got rituals and blues. And this space has always sort of been about that core Guardian fantasy. What does the Guardian look like that you would imagine as sort of the stereotypical everyday Guardian, or the Guardian that you see on the front line? Maybe tragically a Guardian that tried to go into the portal of the Traveler and then gets cut up into a million pieces.
Okay.
This is that spot. And we need a lot of armor here to sort of flesh out those fantasies. Now, sometime in the middle of last year, we sort of reevaluated our priorities on armor. And we said, hey, we need to be spending more on the armors that people care the most about. The people that
but this was not communicated with us at all.
To do all this so they can sort of get these armors in the game. So this is like our PvP stuff in trials, our aspirational stuff in raids and dungeons, our narrative stuff. We thought we weren't consistently hitting the bar enough in those looks. And I think that since that initiative, we've been really successful in this.
You know, I
great
can't help but agree.
In terms of like cowboy armor for Spire. We've put out awesome stuff in the Root of Nightmares.
Aspirational armor.
We've put out a bunch of
awesome
armor sets for sort of deep sea fantasy last season and Season of the Deep. Now, what we failed to do when we reprioritized, hey, where are our resources going, is communicate.
There it is. Yeah, dude.
So we knew that when we made this change, we weren't going to be able to make a ritual armor set every single year. And we thought, okay, well, that's fine. We have a lot that fits this sort of base Guardian fantasy. But we should have communicated that out to you.
Yeah.
And so,
totally.
One, I'd like to say
the community
this is not
deserves that much.
Invest in. We're investing in it again in the final shape. There's going to be a whole nother ritual suite of armor. And we're excited to sort of replenish that base Guardian fantasy. But just because we're doing that in the final shape year, that doesn't mean that we communicated this soon enough. So also for this year, we want to take an armor set that we were going to put in the Eververse, and we're saying, no. We should have communicated this earlier. It's really important that our fans can trust us. Let's take this armor set that we were going to use in Season 22 for the Eververse set, and let's say, no, it's going to be free, and we're going to put it as a ritual rewards.
Wow. Power move. That's a power move. They're trying to get their trust back from the players, huh? I see what they're doing. It's a power move, and it's going to work. People are going to hear that. They're going to like that. I mean, I think it's a good change. Totally unexpected. You wouldn't think Bungie would give up on the opportunity to make money with the Eververse armor set and just put it into the game. It doesn't sound like it would happen, but they're doing it, and you got to give them props for that.
So next season, before the end of the season, you should see a brand new armor set that you can earn through playing Strikes, Crucible, Gambit as like a ritual reward.
I hope it's fire.
A brand new armor look. Again, we're confident in our strategy going forward. We believe this is the right priority going forward, but also it's our responsibility to communicate this stuff sooner. So we want to make sure that we're doing the right thing by all the fans.
Right.
All right. I think that's armor. Let's talk about comms.
Communications.
Okay. We've talked a lot about how the development team is very busy. And I think that although we really want to be focused on delivering great content to y'all and making sure that's our top priority, that doesn't mean our communications have to suffer.
Right.
And so the first thing, we want to be talking to y'all more. But talking to y'all more.
Dude, the community wants them to talk to us so much more. And we do. We hate being left in the dark. We need to know, communicate with us. I know it's not the dev's job to be on camera to talk to us, right? Like they're YouTube creators or whatever. But
our number one priority, we have to keep our community members and our community leaders safe from the Bungie side. I don't want anyone that signs up to come work at Bungie and to talk to y'all about the game to have to worry about their personal safety.
Right. I mean, I don't care about your stance. At the end of the day, you have to agree with them. Like, it's important to keep your workers safe because this whole like toxic side of just gaming communities of people just doing the death threats, doing random phone calls to people's places, sending pizzas to like troll people, and then just being really toxic to the personal people that are working on the game. Dude, like, what is wrong with people, man? Like, dude.
So
it's wrong.
We're going to keep using our branded accounts. You'll see these on Twitter, and you'll see these on Reddit, right?
And this is the outcome because people don't know how to communicate like normal people. They have to just end up trying to do all this dumb shit like death threats on the people that are working on the game. Like, I get it if you don't understand like why certain changes are happening, if you don't like why changes are being made to the game that are affecting you in a negative way. I mean, it's not an excuse to just step out of line and be a complete like ass. Like,
we want to be using those accounts with more
sure, many people can relate and understand and agree.
The other thing is me. I play the game a bunch, and right now
he does
I don't have
LFGs.
a bunch of time to be writing sort of big long blog posts like you would assume. But
Joe actually inspired my LFG Grandmaster videos on the channel. If you guys have seen them, where I go onto LFG and I play with two random people, and then we hear their surprises that it's me. He actually inspired that series because I saw that he was doing a bunch of LFGs with other people, and I was like, man, that sounds like fun.
When season 22 rolls around again, I'm going to be in the game a lot. I'm going to be playing a lot. So what we want to do is commit to a few times next season and the season after. I'm just going to stream me playing the game.
Oh, Twitch stream plug? What are you going to Twitch stream, YouTube stream, Kick streamer? What's going on right now, man? You're trying to get the bag, bro.
And talk to me. And it's not going to be...
He's a Kai CNAT got like the 30 mil bag. Or who was it again? XQC? Joe's like, yo, I'm trying to get that bag too.
Reveal packed. But it is a great time to just be like, hey, check in with Joe. These are the things that we're feeling. Get his opinions on them. And hopefully, if I can get and play with some of our like elite players, me learn a bit more about the game. I learn a ton from playing with you all in the community about different builds that are exciting, different ways to roll. So I want to commit, get out there, play some PvP, learn from some experts, and play alongside all of you next season.
Yo, you two, am I an expert? Should I play with Joe? Let me know, bro. Frabo X Joe. Let me know in the comments below if I should hit him up. Try to get a little trials card going. Maybe a little Zerpix Melota featuring Joe. Who knows? Maybe some comp sessions with Joe. Teach him a couple things about the meta of Destiny PvP and where we stand, man. I'll let him know that we love Antaeus Titans. And we love those melee lunges, bro. I'll tell him we love Immortal.
All right. The only thing that I have left here is close. So I think that means my rambling on here today is over. Thanks so much for listening to this, for watching this. Really excited to see a bunch of y'all next week at the reveal.
And thank you too, Joe. Whether you liked the video or not, gotta give some respect, man. The guy got on front of the camera, almost like an emergency reaction to the state of the game before the final shape. He didn't have a script. He's in his own office. They don't got a studio going on here. And it's just him trying to talk to us from person to person. It's like, all right, here's what's going on. Let's make some changes. Let's try to change some things and work together. Kind of meet in the middle, right? And I definitely felt that more here. I much prefer these type of video commentaries than the state of the game. The state of the game felt very like robotic. This one feels more human, and I feel a little bit more optimistic than I ever did reading that state of the game. There are some really solid points to address from this video, such as we're getting the Eververse armor into the ritual playlist, Crucible map packs, we're getting a strike team. Oh my god. I need that to just kind of settle in and really think with the community and some of my friends to know what that even means for the future of Crucible. Who knows? Some of us might overplay this, overhype it in our heads, but there's one thing for certain. We're walking away with a W. We're getting some changes made that are positive, and that's good, man. I want to go forward. We don't want to regress. We don't want to stay stuck, right? Like, we're playing PvP now. We love the game. We want to love it even more. I see my friends, content creators, people from my clan since day one. People are just leaving. They're playing other games. They're playing less. And it's like, I don't want to see that. So, good video overall. Let me know your thoughts. It was a good watch. Hopefully we get more communications like this in the future. Anyways, take it easy.